We're talking about how what were we talking about again? Oh yes, it just came back to my mind right now. We were talking about Sony and Panasonic teaming up for these optical discs that they are creating, and 300 gigabytes. Now, this is something that I believe definitely can be used in data farms, stuff like that. But also, if they have any desire to come out with this thing for maybe like red ray or something like that, to enhance, because I can't believe that Blu-ray will be the end of the high definition with 4K sets being out there. It has to be that companies are going to want bigger options as far as storage and things like that go. It has to be. So I'm looking at this and I'm saying that even though they're saying that this is more for like the professional studios and things like that, I have to believe that this is definitely going to be for consumers as well eventually. Because even though there are a lot of things that are stored in the cloud, yes, but as far as physical movies, I mean, when you watch a DVD and then you watch a Blu-ray, the difference is night and day. And then when you try to get high definition downloaded offline, or you stream it to your TV, with cable and stuff like that, with cable networks, their high definition is just nowhere near a Blu-ray quality high definition. So I can't see Blu-ray just being the end of the optical disc evolution. Red ray is out as far as it's being used by commercial studios and things like that. But 4K television is out in the masses. So I have to believe that companies are going to want to take advantage fully of 4K, because 4K content really being streamed online or streamed over the web or from cable can't give you that same high definition that an optical disc can. So if this thing can be used for red ray players or 4K sets, be the next movie medium. Now Sony is coming out with their 4K movies and stuff like that. So if this thing can be used to help 4K really be developed and really be put out there, definitely I think that this is going to be something that people use. I don't see that Blu-ray is going to be the end, the last physical disc medium that we have as far as high definition goes. I think that definitely there's going to be a couple more iterations before we get to that end road and everything is just streamed and we don't use physical discs at all. Right now, I still think there's a market for physical discs. I still think that physical discs look better than what's streamed online, than what's coming from the cable companies. I definitely think physical discs can hold more information and can make things look more crisp. I still think there's a market for people to buy movies because it may not be on when they want, or even if it's on Netflix or on Hulu Plus or on Amazon Prime or something like that, or on YouTube or Vimeo or even Time Warner. Any of these places, it might be there, but the time might come where they lose their license, they lose their license for it, their agreement, and it's pulled off Netflix, it's pulled off of Hulu, it's pulled from Amazon Prime, and you don't have any other way of accessing it because the companies have control over that particular media. But when you buy your own, you don't have to worry about where it's on or something like that. Like just the other day, X-Men, the cartoon that came out in the 90s, X-Men, was on Netflix and was there for a while, but recently they lost their license for it, and X-Men is gone. Now, because I have the series on DVD, I don't have to worry about it being gone from Netflix and things like that because I have it. But if I didn't have it, I was watching it at my leisure on Netflix, and now it's gone. You see, and so that's why I just don't believe that there isn't going to be a medium in the near future. There isn't going to be a need for physical media, physical data. I think that we're still going to need it. I think that Sony and Panasonic, even though some people are saying that why invest in this optical disc storage unit because everything is going towards the cloud and so forth, but in the end, these things, all information stored in the cloud is stored on physical equipment. It's not some virtual equipment, it's physical equipment, and those equipments need to have disks. But furthermore, I think there's still going to be a market for people who want bigger and better storage. I still think that, and especially for people who have a large library of movies and music and stuff like that, DJs, even regular people, would want this medium. So I don't see this thing going out anytime soon. And hopefully Sony and Panasonic can develop a player, because these discs are going to be recordable. So develop a player. And can you imagine recording onto this? This is just going to be able to store huge amounts of data. I can only hope that they come up with a player and a burner to accommodate this 300 gigabyte disc when it comes out. Now, according to Wired UK, budget iPhone rumors are gaining pace again. Now, pictures of packaging embezzled with iPhone 5C is what they're calling it. iPhone 5C have emerged, fueling speculation that Apple is finally about to unveil the fabled budget iPhone. With every passing day, the new tech rumors surface. Leaked photos, information from anonymous insiders familiar with the matter. They always say sources familiar with the matter. Sign-ups by online retailers, but no company secrets are prized by rumor mongers quite as highly as those purporting to come from inside Apple, because we know Apple is always tight-lipped when it comes to releasing information. The company's heavily police culture of secrecy makes it something of an enigma, but increasingly it's failing to keep the lid on new product launches as far as secrets before these things come out. Details of an iPhone Lite or iPhone 5C have been circulating for a while now, but the latest pictures posted on the Chinese Wayphone provides most convincing evidence that the iPhone 5C is on the way. Now we have a question by Jaden in tech area. Go ahead, Jaden.
Did you say iPhone Lite?
iPhone Lite. Yep, that's one of the terms they're calling this new iPhone 5C. That's going to be like a budget friendly iPhone.
Okay.
Yeah. So iPhone Lite is going to be, because you have the iPhone 5 and then the rumored iPhone 5S is supposed to be coming up. And these things cost $500, $600, without a contract, even more depending on the memory that you get with it. But Apple has decided they want to come out with a budget version of the iPhone. Well, their budget version anyway, because when Apple says budget, it doesn't necessarily mean a $100 version. No, you're still probably going to pay $300 for the phone, but it's going to be cheaper. Now, according to the some might argue that Apple already has a budget version of its iPhone in the shape of the iPhone 4, but even though it managed to remain stylish, relevant, and up-to-date after being on sale for more than 3 years, and at 320 pounds, it isn't truly a budget device, but budget for Apple. It's thought that the cheaper iPhone will reintroduce the polycarbonate casing of the iPhone 3GS, if you remember, which could make it easier to produce it in a range of colors, up to 5 different colors. It will also reduce manufacturing costs, hopefully making it more likely to gain traction in developing nations. So this is not something that it looks like Apple is trying to come out with here in the US or maybe even in the UK, but more in developing countries. And other rumors suggest that it has the same size screen as the current iPhone 5 and will debut alongside the iPhone 5S on the 6th of September, after which the iPhone 5 will be discontinued. And there is no telling at this stage exactly how much, if any, of this information is to be believed. But the market oversaturation with smartphones it wouldn't be a surprising act to see that Apple implement this new strategy in order to maintain its dominant position and continue to grow its platform. Now, dominant position not meaning in market share, but in just share for a single entity phone. iOS, there is no other iOS brands out there, obviously, and so its dominance as far as the Apple culture, being able to get people to buy these phones in the millions. Apple is going to have to do something to make sure that this thing doesn't lose traction. Now, Apple generally, like we said before, doesn't let these types of rumors slip unless it's not a slip at all. A lot of times Apple might pretend that, oh yeah, this rumor slipped out, when really it's not a slip at all. Apple wanted the rumor to get out because they wanted to, they wanted to let people know or let people see that certain things they were doing. But with this new polycarbonate body, it's definitely feasible that Apple is going to come up with that budget phone, and like the report says, in developing nations. In developing nations, that's where Apple is going to come out with these phones. You might see one or two hit the shores here, maybe for test market, depending on how it does in those developing nations. But the truth of the matter is, Apple really doesn't do budget. Apple doesn't do budget. Apple doesn't do cheap. Apple does. They have their own culture, and they stick to a standard, and they don't care what anybody else has. So other companies will come up with budget phones like Nokia, like LG, and stuff like that. Apple doesn't do that. Apple just comes out with whatever it has, and people normally get it or don't get it. More people get it than not. So I don't see Apple coming out with this thing necessarily here in the States, when they can sell much more expensive phones, because then they're going to dilute their market, here in the U.S. So I don't know, and it depends on the functionality of the phone too. Maybe that will deter people, regular people, from using it. But in certain foreign countries and developing nations, certainly any smartphone is better than none. So coming up after the break, Toshiba adds high prices. Not high prices, a high price look to mid-range laptops. You wonder what that is? All of that and more is coming up right after the break here on Tech Pulse. So just stay tuned.